tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My beautiful people out there. It's Thursday. Welcome another episode here inside the Black Actors Studio. I'm your host, Danny Royce. Thank you so much for joining me. And my special guest today, an amazing, beautiful queen, award-winning filmmaker. She is tearing the industry up. We had a lot to talk about. I'm very excited to have her on. Please welcome the Black Actors Studio is very proud to have Letia Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. It's great seeing your work and everything that you're doing right now. You're really like blowing up, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in the future with your career. I like to say thank you so much again for taking the time out to join me, and I want to say congratulations as well for the Cipher.
Thank you.
Yeah, nominated. Okay, very nice. Yeah. So how did first tell us the story of the Cipher?
Okay. Do you mean the actual film or how it came about?
How it came about.
Okay. I currently just graduated from USC in their MFA program for TV and film production. And one of the classes that you can take for like your thesis or your capstone kind of film project, I chose a class, an advanced project production class where you have to pitch yourself as a director and attach yourself to a film. And what they do is they kind of go through a whole selection process, and they only choose 3 films that semester to, produce and get made in the class. And so I read Wes's script, The Cipher, and absolutely fell in love. I mean, it just immediately, I just saw it. And it was a perfect fit. I sent him my director's reel at the time, and we just felt like, okay, cool. I understood kind of the tone he was going for, and he felt like it was a good match. And so we tag teamed together, and I attached my amazing producers, Anne Brashear and C. Craig Patterson. They were on board. C. Craig is a hip hop head, and he spent some time in New York, and he just understands like the flavor and the vibe. And Anne has a background in theater and dance, and so she understands like theater and theatrical movements, and like choreography as well, because like battle rap there's a lot of choreography kind of involved in it as well,
right?
Or just like physical body movement and energy and kinetic energy. So she understood that, and so we just teamed up together and pitched this thing, and we got it. And then from there, in the summer, I pitched in like April-ish. That summer of 2019, we did all the pre-production casting, and we attached my executive producer, Ben Corey Jones, who is incredible. And once he read the script, he's also like, understands the community and champions like these type of narratives. And so it was just a perfect fit with him. And it's crazy because my approach was like, honestly, if you want to just attach your name, I'm like, you don't have to do anything else. If we just use you as EP, that's it. Like, you could chill. But he loved it so much, and he's just a man of just like genuine integrity, and he wants to see you win.
Right.
And also he genuinely did love the script as well. So he was a part of every part of the process, like pre-production, casting. He helped us raise a little bit of money. He was a part of the production, and in post he did come in because he's also a part of like television. I think he's a genuinely like art, like a storyteller, so he loves the art of filmmaking, and he wanted to see how we put all the pieces together to make this final product. And he was at this final screening as well. And then
that's amazing. And then there's also nominated, best student film in Tribeca, which congratulations for that. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Cipher later on in this interview, but as we start off in the studio, I'd like to start off from the beginning. Okay. Where were you born?
I was born in Oceanside. I'm like, oh God, I'm like, how deep is this gonna go? No, but I was born in Oceanside, California.
Oceanside, California.
Yeah.
And so Do you have any siblings? Were you the only child or
I have an older brother.
older
Yes,
brother?
he's 4 years older than me, and
Okay.
love him to death. And yes, and he has been a part of my filmmaking journey from the beginning, just like in terms of just always been very encouraging. So
Nice.
our dad is in the military. So
Okay.
he was in the Marines. We were military brats and we traveled pretty much, yeah, we traveled all over the
Did you
world.
you traveled a lot when you growing up? Okay.
Yeah, and we
So
spent
how
a
did you
lot of
find yourself back in California?
um let me see. Oof, we lived in Okinawa, Japan, then we went to Chicago,
Wow.
and then we spent like a long period of time in Albany, Georgia. So if you hear any kind of twang or any kind of southern-ish in my voice, that's where it comes from
That's
because
where it's coming
because I spent my formative years like elementary, middle school, and then the beginning of high school in Georgia.
from.
And then I moved out here in LA in 2005. So I've been here for 15 years now. And
Wow.
I moved to Hawthorne and went to Lusinger, and now I'm in Gardena. So I feel like I'm kind of like half Southern, half like Cali girl, and I know what it means to be. I was it like classy ratchet, I guess, like just
That's savage, right?
right, just like understand, how to move into different circles, because I've been able to experience those different environments.
Environments, right? I mean, that has a lot to do with, or it helps you tell those stories as well, in the films because you've experienced a lot. Um, it was a pretty good dynamic in your family, I'm assuming. So a lot of they're really supportive of you in the film industry.
It initially not so much. It
Okay.
did take us some time. My
Hmm.
I had a great upbringing. My dad is Jamaican, so and my mom is African American, from North Carolina. So again, kind of having like this duality and this kind of mix of different worlds.
Right.
But and my mom, she worked in aerospace. My previous life was in aerospace as well, and she's a program manager with a finance background. And I would say um, my aunt now is a photographer, but before was pretty much the only person that decided to go into the creative route or
Right.
like the arts field, which was a complete change. And no, my mom and dad did not understand why I would want to quit such a good paying job in engineering and such a
Right.
secure career because they just want the best for their children, which makes
Right.
sense. Um, but
Yeah, and material engineer, aerospace, like totally different. Like, what made you want to take that transition into the film side of things?
it was a process.
Yeah.
It took about the 4 years to really do some soul searching. And I started off in this wonderful acting class, which is a Breaking Through Actors Workshop by
Hey,
Choice
whoop whoop.
Skinner. Yes, yes. Choice really just opened up my world and opened up um, my lens to creating and to being a storyteller whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera. And so through that class I got inspired to write and create my own first film, which I did co-direct in the beginning, Untold, which is like on domestic violence. And it went to actually a few different film festivals. It was only supposed to be for a demo reel for my acting
Mm,
and stuff, but it became a thing, and at the time I didn't understand. I knew the people who had the camera. I knew the people who had the equipment, right? And I would pull up examples of frames like, okay, well, I want it to look like this. Can we do that, right? But in
right.
hindsight, I had no idea that that was called producing. And I didn't know that was kind of called directing as well. And
Right.
after that film went to a few film festivals, I got such amazing responses from people in the audience. They'll come up to me crying, sharing their story, and to see how much like the film affected people in such a genuine way, and we were
Right.
actually genuinely connecting. I mean, we would have like we would sit together for minutes crying, and they will share their story with me. I just like, okay, this is powerful. And from there, I went to New York Film Academy. I took off from work for about 2 months, did like a 6-week filmmaking program just to learn the technical aspect. Because at that time, I didn't even know what a close up was versus a medium versus a wide. Like I had no
Right.
idea. I just had a
Right.
more of an instinct or a gut feeling about emotion. And then from there, I did another film called Elevate. That
Mm-hmm.
film won an award in Philadelphia. And again, the same thing happened. This little girl, it was basically focused on a teenager who is from LA, kind of like wrapped up in the lifestyle of kind of more urban LA area, but he wants to go to college. And so he enters a robotics competition to get there. But he's just like, surrounded by more negative influences. And so I had this young girl who was, I want to say maybe 14 or 15. She came up to me and was just like, "Oh my God, I see myself in your character. That's me." I got, wow, it's crazy. Like, I'm gonna be the first person to go to want to go to college in my family too, you know. So it's just the
Wow.
power of images, you know. And it's like when you have something to say, it's and it's resonating with people. That's beautiful. And from there, I realized, oh, I guess I do have a perspective. Like, I guess I do have something to say that people want to hear and people want to see. In the way that I want to tell it too. So from there, I said, all right. And the passion and the alignment, I'm fairly spiritual. And,
Yeah.
you know, in this business, like you got to go off of instinct. Um, and sometimes off of vibes, you know, and your gut feeling. And I prayed about it. Like I said, it was a whole soul searching moment. 4 years, I
Mm-hmm.
prayed, I meditated,
Crazy.
I
Yeah.
talked to my mentors because I have so many beautiful mentors in different fields. Choice is one of them. I have mentors in engineering. And you know what? I just was like, all right, this is the move. And when I do things, I do them 1,000%. And so that's why it took so long actually to make the decision because I knew I wasn't gonna come back. Um, but yeah, so not to like make it so long and drawn out, but after all the soul searching part and getting those responses that are real and very real, organic reactions, I said, all right, I think this is what God has planned for me, and I'm gonna just move in the energy that He has for me. And here I am. I quit in 2016. I freelanced for a year, worked on several different projects, got into film school in 2017. And so for the past 3 years, I've been in film school and have been blessed with the opportunity to direct the Cipher, which has now given me all these, more opportunities after graduation.
That's amazing. How how important is it for you to tell our stories, as in speaking Black community?
It's extremely important. Yeah, I can't stress it enough because for whatever reason, there's this, I think there's this maybe either expectation or feeling that, oh, we've told them all, or
Mhm.
yeah, we've seen Boys in the Hood, cool, we've seen that already, or
Yeah.
you see what I mean? Like I think there's a for whatever reason a tendency to be put in a box.
Right.
But first off, there's different versions of Boys in the Hood. Like there's each of those people in those households have had a different experience. Um, and also even working within aerospace and speaking with my mentors who are incredible men and women, but I'm going to just focus on the women who are I've seen them go up in the ranks to be senior engineers, to be fellow engineers, and what it's like to be in a room with our customers and see how the room is receiving their information versus other people saying that same
Mhm.
information.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I mean, and then also, some people are trying to get pregnant. Some people are going through their own life changes, but through the lens of a scientist, of an engineer, and a female African American, a person of color. I just
Right.
think, and that's just one facet of a type of nuanced experience that we're going through, or with the cipher, being queer within hip hop. That's those two alone together are already just kind of a lot.
Yeah.
It comes with,
Yeah.
you know, um, I remember Kanye West in the 2005 interview, he was saying that basically being gay or gay is the opposite of hip hop. because you know how you use that slur, that's gay, right? Remember how we used to say all that? That
Yeah.
was like a negative connotation. So it's like,
Right.
right. And so now things are, changing, and the conversations are being had, which is beautiful, but you can only have those conversations if you talk about it, right? And then film, like we know, look at Hidden Figures. For me, that was everything. I mean, me
Yeah.
and my mentors, we literally, it was a group text message. We got like 20 of us to go to watch that film together, and we left the film crying in tears because of how on point. I'm sorry, do you hear construction in the background? No, we're
No,
good.
you're
Okay,
good.
okay. um yeah, we just left.
LA,
Yeah, I know.
always.
Right, they better be doing construction during now that we're in the house. But yeah, so I just, the way it affected us, because we saw ourselves on the screen for the first time, and they
Exactly.
were
Yeah.
able to do it and show such nuanced experience between women of color, to see that beautiful camaraderie, and just to see just different layers. And that's only
That's amazing.
skimming the surface. So you probably alone, Danny, have tons of stories from your childhood, you know what I
Right.
mean? Stories from college. Just the way your lens of the world and your experience is not the same, and will never be the same from mine. And it won't be the
Right.
same from the people who are running this whole, this show. I mean, it's just, I think we have only scratched the surface, and I think there's so much more to come. And it's extremely imperative to be the writers of our own history and our own
Yes.
narratives.
Yeah. Yeah. Great way of saying that. Cassie Lemons once said, she said, we have to stop putting our stories in others' hands. And we have to create our own. We have to be the ones that write our own stories because we know them best. So I love how you worded that. Who's out there right now that's really inspiring you to kind of take it up to the next level?
Oh, I mean, there's many. Oh, yeah. Well, I would have to say, that's interesting. I would have to say, a few people come to mind. Barry Jenkins comes to mind, because
Okay.
first off, I just love his visual aesthetic. It's
Yeah.
timeless, it's
Definitely.
nostalgic, it's beautiful, it's contemporary, it's unapologetic. I think
Right.
that's the part that is striking and beautiful about it, right? Um, Another person that comes to mind too, I'm not gonna say so many people, but D Reese. I'm not
TV.
sure if she wrote and directed Pariah,
Okay.
Mudbound,
Okay.
yes, and Bessie as well. And the thing of what I love about her, first off, her cinematography is also beautiful, but the way she writes dialogue and subtext between characters, it's phenomenal to me. She says a whole lot in one scene without saying much at all. And you're
Right.
just like, and you're and you're with these characters, and you're just kind of stuck, and you're just like, say it, but they never say it.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm in awe with how she develops her characters. And it forces me to think in my mind when I am writing characters, man, how would Dee Reese do it? Like how would,
Mm,
let me see, how would, nah, she wouldn't say that. Okay, cool. Let's let me think about what's the, like, two different layers of subtext to help build these scenes. And then
right.
another person too is Phoebe. I can't remember her last name, but she created Fleabag,
Okay.
the TV show Fleabag. And what I love, and also Issa Rae. Issa Rae is
Of
like a
course.
boss. She's a boss. I mean, there's so many, Ava DuVernay, Ryan. I mean, there's
Yeah.
just so many beautiful, like, examples of people who are always continuously pushing the boundaries. But I will just go back to Phoebe real quick. Is and even Michaela Cole. She did Chewing Gum.
Kayla
TV.
Cole.
Yeah, I think I'm so sorry if I butcher her name,
That's
but
fine.
she created Chewing Gum, which is a
Hmm.
British comedy series that was on Netflix, I believe. But those women, along with Issa, it's like they're pushing the boundaries of how women are represented on screen,
Right.
where we don't, we get to see a bit more of the crass, unkept, real and raw, and
Oh, yeah. For
not
sure.
so polished side of being a woman in some of our experiences that we go through. And I just think uh, because of them, it's like, no, let's push it even more and let's show more sides of who we are.
Right. So you were you took acting and all that. Um, Obviously you cared more about being behind the camera than in front, right? That's just kind of like, is that like more your home where you feel more comfortable, where you feel more creative?
I love both.
You love both? Okay.
Yeah, I love both. I love art and I love storytelling in any way that it comes. First off,
Awesome.
yeah, but because I've been in film school, I've been behind the camera majority of the time and just
Gotcha.
really fully immersed um, in that environment. So actually, what's fascinating is I went to film school thinking that I wasn't going to act anymore. But what's
Mm,
crazy, and that's why I'm like, I'm a spiritual person. Somebody up there is watching me, and I'm
right.
in tune with somebody. So
Right.
as I've still been able to get certain acting um, opportunities within my friends in film school. So I've gotten to act in
Gotcha.
their projects,
Nice.
and I've created some wonderful bonds with other amazing writers and directors. It's just been really incredible. And I think moving forward, I do love behind the camera. I love creating my own work and also like directing other people's amazing work. And I would say I am still open and available to act when it makes sense and when it's the right project. Because I think
Right.
moving forward, time is so valuable, right? And I want to make sure that I'm the perfect, or not perfect, but I'm a good fit for that project and vice versa moving
Right.
forward, if that makes sense. Because
Right.
I know
Of course.
so many other beautiful, talented African American actresses that could equally play, the roles that I could also go up for as well, if that makes
Right.
sense. So
Oh yeah, of
it
course.
just needs to be a good fit.
Of course. And you were talking about, talking about amazing writers. Ben Corey Jones, who's a writer on, Boomerang and Insecure.
Mhm.
How did that relationship come about for the
So
Cipher?
yeah, yeah. So I met Ben about 5 years ago. But 5 or 6? Yeah, 5 or 6, one of the two. Uh, at my brother's birthday party in Hollywood, and I don't know, we just kind of kept up ever since then. And it was, I think it was right before Insecure hit. If I'm not, I
Okay.
could be wrong, but I think it was right before because I didn't fully know. Like I was like, oh, I didn't really. I met Ben as Ben, like not Ben as Insecure Ben.
Right, right.
And so then I think Insecure might have hit after that, and I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's crazy. And we just kind of kept up with each other over the years. Nothing too crazy, and he just blew up and has been phenomenal. And I think what's interesting about this business is everyone has their time. And I remember Choice Skinner would
Right.
always say this in our acting class too. It's just like it's a timing thing. It may not be right now. It may not be for the next year, 5 years. And I think Barry Jenkins was there was a huge time gap between his first feature and Moonlight.
The
You know what I
Moonlight,
mean? And
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
now he's like popping off. So everyone's gonna have their time, and for him, Ben at that during 5-6 years ago ish, somewhere around there, he was popping.
Yeah,
Ben was popping. And
yeah.
he still is now because he just launched his writers room program, which is incredible. And so when I was right, maybe about a few months before I pitched for the Cipher, he hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, yo, I see you doing your thing. I'd love to work with you in some way." And I'm like, "Okay, amazing." At the time, I didn't have anything right then and there, but after I got selected for the Cipher, immediately I was like, "Okay, he's gonna be the perfect." Well, you know what? Let me tell you, you have to be smart about when reaching out. I'll say this: I didn't reach out to him immediately. What I did, we built our team. We developed the script a little bit more to where it was at a good place to show people. We built our website. I have a pitch deck. We had our visuals together. So, I made sure we were in a good position,
Right. Everything's set
project
up.
wise. That
Hmm.
way he can just boom, come in, and it's not like it's a whole bowl of spaghetti noodles that
Yeah,
we don't know what we're doing. You're like, no, 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 we know what we're doing, but we'd love to have you to be a part of it to elevate us even more. And
exactly.
then the rest was history. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's awesome. Well, we're going to wrap up our interview for today. I'd like to thank you
Okay.
so much again for joining me. Before we
Thank
go,
you.
though, can you tell us if you have anything coming up or if you're working on anything during this quarantine?
Yeah, absolutely. I am working on a few different feature films right now, just like two different ones that are kind of near and dear to me,
Nice.
and a possible TV show. And we are, pitching, just throwing around ideas possibly to make the Cipher into a feature, because
Okay.
we just really want to dig into his past and know more about him and know more about his environment. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's awesome. And I love to see what you got coming up and to keep pushing boundaries and keep being Black and amazing. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Of course. Well, go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you and keep updated with you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you, Danny, for having me on the show.
Of course.
Again, my name is Letia Solomon. I can be found on Instagram at l.solomon, SOLOMON _, or you can check out the Cipher at the Cipher Film on Instagram, and that's how you can check it out and look at all of the people who are attached to it, all of our amazing crew and our cast. So yeah,
And
connect with
when
us.
can they see that film? When the film be out soon or
It's still in its festival circuit.
in the
So it's
festival
still,
circuit?
yeah. So hopefully maybe within the next few months we'll see, and then we can maybe be a part of more of an LA film festival here where people locally can watch the film.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it. And thank you so much for joining me here on the show. I'm sure we'll have some more dialogue transfer later on. But thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. My name is Danny Royce. You can find me everywhere at I Am Danny Royce. See you next week, same place, same time, inside the Black Actor Studio.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.